Exactly what kind of terrain you're navigating.
Exactly. But I mean, when you open Leslie Minton's manuscript, Edward Potter's Tea for Two, it's less like reading a map and, well, more like looking through a kaleidoscope.
Oh, absolutely. Every time you turn the page,
Mm-hmm.
the pieces of reality fracture and rearrange into just a completely different era.
Yeah. One second you're standing in a 1919 Parisian art school, and then before you can even blink, you're looking at a post-apocalyptic water world in the year 3000. So, Leslie, welcome. We've custom tailored today's exploration into the source material just for you to navigate this, frankly, bizarre universe.
It really is a sprawling narrative. I mean, it blends historical fiction, sci-fi, and fantasy, all while weaving together things like time-traveling dark rooms and mutated historical bloodlines.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the protagonist, Edward Potter. He's a sculptor and a photographer in 1919, and he has this intense rivalry with a classmate named Edwin.
Right, and Edwin is described as this ghoulish imposter, and he might actually be a vampire, or possibly even the World War I Red Baron missing a prosthetic leg.
Which is wild, but the craziest part is Edward's camera obscura and darkroom. It literally doubles as a geared time machine set to the year 3000.
Yeah, and he's also studying this mysterious sea clay or pirate's rock that eventually hatches like a prehistoric dinosaur egg. It is a lot to take in.
It is. It's like Edward's time-traveling darkroom is essentially a Doctor Who TARDIS, but it's powered by aesthetic creation rather than sci-fi physics. I mean, think about how the act of developing film is literally a way of freezing time.
Exactly, and what's fascinating here is why this matters to the story. The author uses these mediums, like sculpting clay and developing photos, as direct metaphors for immortality.
Because Edward wants to freeze beauty, right?
Right, he's trying to capture the perfect form. Meanwhile, Edwin, with his decaying presence and phantom limbs, represents the exact opposite. He embodies the distortion and decay of time.
So if the darkroom is the vehicle, we really need to look at where it lands. I mean, the consequences of this future world Edward arrives in.
Oh, the landing is rough. Earth has become a literal water planet after this massive apocalyptic event involving the eruption of Magma Mountain and centuries of toxic waste dumping.
Right, and we find ourselves on Plum Island. It's this isolated haven of bizarre biological evolution being studied by Dr. Tabitha Dunsfield and her Cambridge intern, Alison Tidley.
And the wildlife they're studying is just completely off the wall. You got Surat, the giant rat, and giant squids with parrot-like beaks lurking under the loading docks.
Oh man, and my absolute favorite, Flint, the young dragon. Here's where it gets really interesting, especially if you like seeing fantasy tropes pushed back on.
Oh, for sure. The dragon is such a perfect example of subverting expectations.
Right, because the story gives us a biological, digestive explanation for a dragon breathing fire. It's not magic. He eats these slightly toxic plums on the island, which then ferment into combustible hydrogen gas deep in his belly.
Right, so just a few burps, some gnashing teeth to create a spark, and boom, you get blue flame. It really grounds a mythical creature in bizarre evolutionary science.
Which is such a cool way to look at it.
It is, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, you see the environmental commentary. The apocalypse here didn't actually destroy life, it accelerated adaptation. This ties directly into the F5 theory mentioned in the text.
Wait, F5 theory, are we talking like the tornado scale?
Similar in
Yeah.
concept, yeah. It's a Category 5 total catastrophic wipeout of previous economic and environmental systems. But instead of resulting in a barren wasteland, that collapse basically cleared the board.
Ah, I see. So it forced nature to pivot violently into a new, highly resilient ecosystem.
Exactly. And building on that idea of biological mutation, the people and the history of this world have mutated just as much as the animals.
Oh, definitely. We learn about the descendants of the Ming Dynasty workers and the invading Mongols. Over 1,000 years of being infected by a virus and impacted by climate change, these human factions physically mutate.
Right. They turn into literal green-skinned trolls and ogres.
Yeah. And you have these trolls, led by this muscle-bound boss named Spike, being forced by British aristocrats to work in a soap factory. They're making lavender bubble soap out of fat and wood ash.
Which is just such a vivid, bizarre image. The boundaries between human, animal, and myth become entirely fluid here. Take Andrew Dunsfield, for example.
The young boy wandering the forest.
Yeah, he's role-playing, or maybe hallucinating, that he is a brave mouse named Randy Forrest while talking to a tattered stuffed toy. And then there's the surreal wedding of Emily and Edward.
Oh, right, where the ring bearer is a waddling goose and the shape-shifting Edwin is just lurking in the background. So what does this all mean?
Well, it really shows how history warps over time.
Exactly. I was thinking it's like a massive game of historical telephone. You take a real event, like the building of the Great Wall, pass it through 1,000 years of trauma, and the history literally mutates into a fairy tale about trolls and ogres.
That is a great way to put it. And this raises an important question about how the narrative treats mythology. It shows us that myths are often just forgotten history.
Because they don't know it's a post-apocalyptic future.
Exactly. To the characters living on Plum Island in the year 3000, this strange, mutated world isn't fantasy. It's just their present reality.
Yeah, what we view as fantasy, they view as Tuesday. Well, Leslie, what a wildly creative journey this has been today. From the Parisian art scene all the way to a futuristic water world where actual history has morphed into living mythology.
It really is a masterful balance of sci-fi, history, and fantasy.
It truly is. It respects your desire for multiple perspectives, Leslie, and does it without getting bogged down by its own lore.
Absolutely. And Leslie, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over today.
Yeah.
In the story, Edward's simple camera pod, just an everyday object for him, transports him to the year 3000, where it is viewed as this mystical, broken artifact.
Oh, that's a really fascinating point.
Right. So look around you right now. What ordinary, everyday object sitting on your desk might be worshipped,